material has been
Welcome back in to the Pesky Report. Brought to you by Beyond the Monster. It is a memoriam episode, a sad episode. It is the official mark of the end of a season that felt like 3 seasons with highs and lows, ups and downs, and the start of my favorite time of the year, the off season, where we dream about what could happen and what probably won't happen. And we get to get our hopes up and then crushed and squashed over and over and over again. I'm your host today, Matthew. We got Jordan filling in on the last regular season recap show / off-season look ahead. We've got Isiah joining us as well. Although some rumor has it he's half the man he used to be. We'll get into that. And we're not really excited to be here. That's typically the thing that we say, when we have hope and optimism. Not really excited to be having this conversation now with this tone. But I think that the way that the team showed up the last month of the season, this outcome is not 100% surprising. And honestly, probably what they deserved given the performances that they put out there. But we'll get into that. If you haven't taken a chance to follow us on the social medias yet for this off season, we'd love to have you guys join along with us as we ride the highs and lows of the off season, prepare for the upcoming season for spring training. You can be alerted whenever we drop new episodes because the schedule is going to be a little bit weird for the off season. So definitely want to give us a follow on there at the Pesky Report on Instagram and on Twitter /X. And on YouTube, if you like watching video content, we have all of our videos available on there. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, hi YouTube. We are moving on. I'm wearing my Bruins hat, my Bruins shirt. Jordan, what are you repping over there?
I got Celtics hat on. I don't want to expose the bald melon, so I'm going to leave it backwards. You're going to have to take my word for it that it's Celtics hat.
Celtics hat. Isiah, what about you?
Rocking a Tatum jersey.
Nice.
Tatum jersey. I feel like the lead story here is I need to know, Isiah, how was your experience in Yankee Stadium in enemy territory for Game 3 of the AL Wildcard Series?
Absolutely exhilarating outside of the game. My buddy and I may have had 1, 2, or 15 drinks beforehand, which made it a bit more interesting. And on the way into the park, we were sitting down to grab our seats. I thought it'd be a good bit to see how many seats I could jump over with my phone in my hand, an hour before the game started. And I did not reach what I was intending and fell flat, all over seats and concrete. And the best part was because I had so many drinks, I was like, oh, little boo-boo, whatever, it's fine. And I was like, I wonder why my phone's not turning on. And I'll try to do a factory reset or whatever. And then an hour and a half later, it's everything's cracked. It's showing different colors. And I got a little bit of a battle scar to show. Nice deep purple. So.
Wow. You had the chance with a broken phone and no one to disprove you that you could have just told everybody that you got into a fight, chirping it out with some Yankee fans there in the crowd. It was Cam Schittler's parents. You started accusing him of being turncoats and his dad beat the crap out of you.
You should have seen the other guy moment, but we appreciate the humility, the willingness to just be like, nope, it was on me.
I thought about it, but they were so soft last night that I was like, if I lie about it, it's not even gonna be believable because they had nothing. the entire after they won, obviously, scoreboard, whatever, but weak.
Where did you sit?
From what I remember. No, I'm just kidding. Like
It's gotten a lot of
behind
places, mostly from falling over. But
yeah. Multiple rows. No, it was kind of like behind home plate, like up top ish. Had a good view ish, surrounded by Yankees fans.
You weren't
There's a
you weren't surrounded by the bleacher creatures, is what you're saying.
no.
Yeah, that's that game had so much potential, and I don't know how much you remember of that, but Connolly Early, man, he was dicing and dealing until he wasn't. Jordan, how you feeling?
It's you kind of that whole whirlwind of emotions that you go through every single year as a diehard Red Sox fan when the season's over. I kind of forgot. I mean, they hadn't made the postseason since 2021. I kind of forgot the feeling of getting eliminated from the playoffs. It feels different than when you get eliminated from contention versus being there, and especially because in similar fashion, you had the series lead against the Astros in 21. The offense goes cold. You lose 3 straight. Whatever. You didn't necessarily have command of the series, but you had a late lead in game 4. This series you win game 1. No team had ever blown a 1-0 lead in the wild card round. That much is still true, other than the Red Sox. So it's similar. The offense goes cold. Pitching wasn't good enough. I mean, it was fine, but in the playoffs, you really can't be giving up 4 runs in an inning, especially when you haven't scored yet. It's tough because then to put so much more pressure on the offense. And when Cam Schlittler was fantastic, and I don't want it to sound like he wouldn't have been equally as fantastic if the Red Sox kept it 1-0, 2-0, but I think the quality of at bats got worse once the deficit grew. And it is what it is. It sucks being in this position. The high that I felt after game 1, because I was in attendance for game 1, it sucks to lose to the Yankees, especially, but we all thought they were going to win that series before game 1. And we had our hopes of seeing Marcelo somehow make a miraculous comeback and play either next round or in the LCS. We all thought that Roman Anthony was going to play again this season. We all thought that Ceddanne Rafaela was going to be a playoff riser. We're going to get a signature moment from him. We thought Bayo was going to be in a similar vein, or maybe I shouldn't say we. These are all things I thought. But it didn't happen. I think that's kind of it's just postseason baseball. You get cold at the wrong time, and your season's over in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, the game 1 high was incredible. The crochet dominance, turning it over to Chapman, loading the bases, the drama, striking out the side after that, like that was incredible. That was a really awesome moment, and because of the history of the game 1 winners, you almost felt like, wow, this is great. And to then lose 2 games in a row when you just had to win one of those 2 games to move on, and you couldn't win one of those games like that. That part was that was the saddest part for me. The offense looked bad the entire series, other than Masataka Yoshida and Trevor Story. No one else really looked like they wanted to be there in the postseason. Yeah, I mean, a shout out to Cam. Cam, he just shoved it right up our butts, and in a way that was so embarrassing that I can't remember if it was. I think it was Romy struck out in the 8th inning, and he was just swinging at pitches 3 feet over the zone, just striking out on the same fastball he's been pumping down right down the middle of the plate all game, and he was also dotting it. He was just, here's my best pitch. Honestly, that level of dominance is like what we would expect from Peyton Tolley, with the way we talk up his fastball. You know what I mean? Like Cam, he just threw his fastball 90% of the time. He threw 10% breaking balls. He just pounded, 100 miles an hour, and we couldn't even touch it. Wasn't even close. And I think like that's, if I had a dream about what I want Peyton Tolley to become, I think that's probably the vision there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was phenomenal, but I mean, we really lost a series of game 2. I think that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, Cam was fantastic in game 3. Our bats didn't do nothing in game 3, but a few plays here in game 2, and we win 2-0, and all these narratives that are currently being floated around, no one's bringing it up. Just funny how quickly things shift. In a 36-hour cycle from the end of game 1 to game 3.
It just sucks. I mean, only two dudes drove in runs for you this series, and it was Yoshida in the pinch in game 1 and Story in game 2. And like, I mean, you're not going to win many series when only 2 guys drive in runs unless your pitching is perfect, and it wasn't. Like, again, it was fine. Like, I mean, Bayo didn't have it, but you gave up only 4 runs in game 2. Like, in a regular season game, you're expecting to win a game. You give up 4 runs, and you only gave up 4 runs in game 3, and they all came in 1 inning. So, like, the pitching was fine. You gave up how many? 9 runs in 3 games? Like, I mean, again, it falls squarely on the offense, really. I mean, and I guess to a degree, the defense didn't help, but by the time Nate Lowe made that mistake that drove in 2 runs for the Yankees, they'd already scored 2 more runs than the Red Sox did all game. So it doesn't, I don't know. It's just a frustrating way to go out. We probably should have seen it coming to a degree, but I mean, I don't know. Oh, I lied. 3 guys drove in runs in the series. Bregman had an RBI double in game 1. Forgot about that. But just,
I mean, all this is true. Yes. But, like if Duran catches that ball, we'll probably win game 1 and game 2. And it's like, wow, that was kind of easy. It's just crazy.
Series, yeah.
It's crazy how quickly narratives can shift off like 2 or 3 games where it's like, this guy's not a playoff performer now. And like, yeah, some of it's true, right? Like obviously the bats are awful, but like if we win game 2 and we're not talking like, oh, I'm really worried about the bats. It's like, wow, we've managed to pull those victories out. Pitching was that good. Like, let's rock and roll. It's crazy how quickly it can shift.
Jarren Duran had maybe one of the worst individual series I've seen in a postseason, though, in quite some time. It's like we're talking, I think probably, 2021 Hunter Renfroe ALCS was atrocious, had me showing whole for Danny Santana. So maybe not quite that bad. Actually, maybe that quite that bad because I didn't want Duran in the lineup in game 2 at all. And then in game 3, I wanted him hitting 7th even against the righty. I had no faith in Jarren Duran in this series. I saw how Max Fried kills him. That's just a bad matchup for him, which is another reason why. The irony of it here is you had to have Duran in the lineup for game 1 because of his defense. Game 2, you lost because of his defense. In the game, I'm not ripping him for that Stanton play in game 3. It looked like the ball took a weird bounce off the wall. I really don't think if he's sprinting at the wall and that takes a weird carom, it's a double anyway. It's just, I'm not going to rip. There's plenty of reasons to shit on Jarren Duran for his performance in this wild card round. That play specifically got way too much attention. He did enough other things terribly to get ridiculed. That one was not one for me.
Yeah, that play, it was surprising the lack of hustle. In hindsight, it didn't impact the game overall, so it's not a huge deal. But I think, like, looking at how slow him and Rafaela moved towards the wall, if that had turned into more runs, then I think we'd be talking about it a lot more. I think that it does deserve a little bit of criticism from simply the fact that it, in the moment, as a singular play, was poorly, and then because then the throw was bad too. It wasn't just like, oh, he didn't hustle to the fence. It was also the relay was the worst relay that you could have done in that situation. It was a bad throw to whoever it was, Story or whatever, and then he relayed it to Romy. That was also a bad throw. So it was just sloppy all
to your
around.
point, I think you can differentiate between that's who Duran is as a player, and the fact that he's not consistent, rather than like the takes of like, oh, he's just being lazy out there in the outfield. Like the problem with Duran is he has these plays where like, I'm not saying he's zoned out. I'm not saying he doesn't want it, but like that's who he is as a player, is he has constant brain farts. Like that play was, and that's the problem with him, rather than, oh, I don't think Jaron Duran is in game 3, not like just lollygagging out there because he doesn't care about the game.
Right.
It's just who he is as a player.
I think he just thought it was gone. I mean, everyone did. Will
Brain
Fleming
farts.
thought it was gone. Will Fleming actually said it was gone, even though it didn't even hit halfway up the wall. I think
we all thought it was gone in the ballpark. I was shocked that was not a home run.
Ceddanne thought it was gone. He wasn't even at first base by the time Duran finally got over to the baseball. I mean, the thing with Duran, and like I know people have already made their declarations on how they're going to fix this team this offseason. And 90% of the ones I've seen does not feature Jaron Duran on the 2026 roster. It frustrates me because I think you look at Duran as a player, like take the name away, just look at like the physical attributes. Everything about him is like exactly what you want in a player. Work ethic through the roof. Dude has speed, can hit the ball to all fields, doesn't have like 40 homer power. So I guess that's something that you wish he had, but he has pop. Like he's not some slapdick hitter. Yep. This year he didn't hit for high average, but typically in the 270 to 290 range. Like he's a good player. I mean, this is a bad year for him. Like the way he gets talked about, you'd think he had the worst season of all time. Still put up about 4 wins above replacement. Like he's still a good player. But there's always something about Duran that ruins everything. Not just with the game, just himself specifically, whether it be his antics, whether it be the fact he doesn't command the strike zone at the plate, whether it be dropping a routine pop fly, whether it be getting a terrible jump and just not arguing with the fans. Yeah, there's just something about him individually almost all the time that ruins the fact that that's a pretty damn good baseball player. And I don't know what Craig Breslow's thinking. I think he's proven that time and time again that nobody does. He may not even know what he's thinking half the time, but like it feels like Duran's played his last game as a Boston Red Sox, and I know that's what most people want. I'm indifferent. He's a very erratic player, and those guys, you can't build around them. You could have them, but you can't build around them, and it feels like Duran's kind of gotten to that point where he feels like he should be built around, and he just shouldn't be.
I feel like we can't even maximize him as a left fielder anyways. Like it's pretty, in my opinion, it's pretty apparent that he was a much better center fielder than he was a left fielder anyways. Like we can't maximize his abilities with this current roster construction. Now, would you rather have, Rafaela than Duran with his glove? Obviously. But, Duran's bat is quite a bit better than Rafaela's for the most part. So, there's that too. So give and take.
Play this scenario out, right? We trade Ceddanne Rafaela for Yandy Diaz, which was what the offer was, right? The Rays wanted Rafaela. Imagine what that playoff roster looks like with Yandy Diaz at first base and Duran in center field. Do you think we beat the Yankees in that scenario?
It's tough to answer because you have to operate under the assumption that Roman still gets hurt. So then you're talking Massa in left field, or is it Sogard, or does Campbell get called back up, or Eaton?
Eaton.
I think if we're pretending Roman doesn't get hurt, I think the Red Sox are a better team than, just if we're talking for one series, the offense is what killed you. Like, and Ceddanne didn't necessarily do anything special out there in center field either.
True.
So if we're just talking this series, I think they would have won with Yandy at first, Duran in center, and throw a dart at the wall for the left fielder, as long as it's not like, I don't know, Trace Thompson.
I still hate that trade though. I wouldn't.
I do too. Oh no, I wouldn't. I'm not saying I would do it. I just think if we're talking just the context of this series, I think they would have won with Yandy, but it's not an advocation for that trade. I think that was.
I also don't disagree that trading away a platinum glove defender is a bad idea, But to the point of maximizing the players that you have, if you have an outfield of Roman, Wilyer, and then Duran in center field and Yandy Diaz at first base, I feel like that's a very solid defensive outfield while also providing you like top tier lineup production. So like I could see that. Now obviously like when Rafaela was going on that tear right before the All-Star break and you're like, holy crap, how could we ever consider trading him? Which was when they would have had to consider trading him was when he was on fire. But like, I just feel like ultimately, if someone's willing to give us a really good value for Rafaela, it does make more sense to maximize the offense that way. But I agree with what Jordan's saying, like, or whoever it was, Isiah, whoever was saying that we aren't maximizing Duran by having him in left. I agree. If they can't clear out Rafaela, and I'm not saying that they should, but if someone values him that way, like maybe we lose the trade, but we maximize the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the two of those, it feels like they have to go. Like it just has to. I know people talk about Duran and Abreu too, which I get, but you can't play Duran in left field anymore. It just doesn't make sense.
I've got several hot takes for this offseason because that's what happens when the season ends. You get very dramatic.
Yeah.
There isn't an outfielder other than Roman like within the organization that I am like against trading.
Yep, that's the take.
Like,
yeah.
Like again, I don't want to pretend like I know what Craig Breslow's thinking, but does this team need somebody like Ceddanne Rafaela to be good? I mean, don't get me wrong, super timely hitter all year long, but can you really count on a dude who's that quite literally hit or miss at the dish on account of the random play he makes that make your eyeballs fall out of your head? And I'm not advocating for trading any of these guys. I'm just saying, depending on the return, I'm not saying no on any of these dudes. And I think it's kind of like to echo my own point. We talk about the outfield logjam. I think they need another outfielder. I seriously think like we're talking consolidating talent, so you're probably trading multiple. I think you then need another outfielder though still. Like I'm not giving left field to Christian Campbell. Who knows if he's even going to bounce back and hit like the way he was as a prospect before, May of this year. I think they need to trade multiple outfielders or get multiple find a way to get creative with the outfield and then add another outfielder because you need star power. You prove that in this series. The Red Sox have a good roster, even with the injuries. They had a good roster, a good lineup. The problem is they had Bregman. That's the only star they've got, and he was hurt. Yeah. So you had one star playing at like a pretty good level. It's just not good enough. You need stars in the playoffs. Yoshida was awesome in the two or the 3 games he played. 2 games worth of at-bats. Should have gotten more. I cannot believe that he was relegated to the bench for 2 games. He was one of the only dudes on the roster with any like iota of postseason experience.
Yeah, not to circle back, but one more thing I'll add about Rafaela is the stronger your lineup is, the more valuable Rafaela is. The problem with Rafaela on this team currently is our lineup is not deep enough. We don't have enough power. It's not balanced enough. So someone like Rafaela like sticks out like a sore thumb. You have him hitting like that 6, 7, 8 hole. When if you have a really good if you throw him in like I don't know Philadelphia or somebody, and you glue him as your 9 hitter, and he's just making spectacular plays out in center field, and no one gives a shit. Like there's no dependency on his bat whatsoever. Super duper duper valuable player, but when you got Nate Eaton, Nick Sogard hitting, 6, 7 and Romy.
He was our 5 hitter. He was our 5 hitter in game 2.
Yeah.
And we had him sacrifice bunting in game 1 or whatever game it was.
Yeah, it was game 2. I think he hit 6th in game 2, but he hit 5th in game 3. So like winner take all. and you've got a dude who is basically a Javi Baez reincarnate offensively as far as like swing profile, hitting fifth.
Yeah.
Now
is
Cora
crazy.
looks
So
like a
this is from
genius if he goes 3 for 4 with a home run, but like,
This
mean-
is from Red Sox stats. This is the win probability added from the entire series, not counting defense. Jarren Duran, negative 23%, worst on the team. Rafaela, negative 20%. Masataka Yoshida, positive 29%. Just to put some things in perspective there. Nick Sogard, positive 16%. But like I think that further brings that point home that like Duran and Rafaela combined for negative 43%. I'm not even going to say win probability added. It's more like loss probability added at that point. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then, like, this series doesn't change this conversation. We were going to have this conversation whether they won the series or not. And if those guys had been good, this conversation was still going to be had, you know?
yeah,
I think
they've got some difficult decisions to make this offseason. And again, I don't want it to get misconstrued like I'm advocating for trading any of these dudes individually. I'm just saying you've got to trade one or two of them of the three.
Yeah.
you said that
Because
last year.
Roman's off limits. Absolutely no shot in hell you're trading him. Like Paul Skeens is on the table. I'm still probably holding on to Roman Anthony in that regard because you get Roman every single day. But you got to trade one or two of these dudes, and I still think you need another outfielder. I don't think it necessarily has to be Kyle Tucker. I would like it to be Kyle Tucker. I know he didn't really have the best season.
Kyle
He played hurt.
Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber is not an outfielder. Definitely not an outfielder.
I've seen him play the outfield.
I mean, technically on MLB The Show, he's a left fielder. So
Yeah.
him and his 47 fielding and reaction time. If we're
Kyle
speaking
Tucker-
technicalities.
I mean, Kyle Tucker this year walked as frequently as he struck out. That was one thing the Red Sox were very bad at was they're striking out. They struck out all fucking 13 times against Schlittler, 12 times against Schlittler.
Oh, Alex
Tucker in a
Bregman was supposed
bad
to fix that
year.
too, and he couldn't. Alex Bregman must have had his highest. I'm gonna look it up right now. Must have been his highest K percentage he's ever had. Like, there's no way that he helped our K percentage this season.
He didn't even really strike out all that much, though. The problem is he struck out more than he struck out less than he did last year. Or no, sorry, I was still on Tucker's page. Struck out 0.5% more than he did last year. In the postseason, he struck out 15%. So he struck out twice in 13 plate appearances, but he walked 3 times. He had an RBI double. Like Bregman was fine in the series. Like he had a 462 on base. It felt like he could have done more, but he had a 462 on base. So I'm not really going to give Alex Bregman any shit for what happened in the series. I mean, again, Bregman, Story, Yoshida, Sogard, Crochet, Chapman, basically it for, I guess the bullpen wasn't bad. Whitlock in game 2 got hung out to dry because he had to be because Bayo sucked. Like really comes down to it. Like the losers of this series for me are Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu, Nathaniel Lowe, and Brian Bayo. And Romy Gonzalez, the lefty killers, I'll keep as one entity because Romy and Ref combined for reaching base twice.
Yeah, that was very disappointing. They haven't been quite the same towards the end of the year. They definitely cooled off a little bit. But the entire, again, that's just goes to speak about the entire state of the offense. Because themselves, it was not like they weren't putting up. I guess Ref wasn't putting up awful at bats. Romy, he was not looking super great on the plate there. He did not look ready. They all looked overmatched, honestly, almost every game. The exception was when.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can finish, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
No, I was going to say it just, except for when Fried started to get a little wild in game 1. Other than that, that was the only time they didn't feel like they were overmatched. I didn't feel like they were overmatched in the series.
Is this the part where I can shit on Craig Breslow again for trading his best hitter?
We've never done that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, I know that I've kind of like bobbed and weaved my way through like, oh, we should stop caring about that trade and move forward. And then now, like in the immediate aftermath of losing this series, it just puts into perspective that I mean, Hicks was hurt, but would you have wanted him to play in this series? No. Kyle Harrison was on the roster. He didn't show up in the series. And then the dude you
Nope.
traded one of the prospects that you got for Devers for was hurt, but would you have wanted him to play in the series? No. So can we I know people like it's become such a radio talking point that, oh, you had to trade Devers. He was this clubhouse cancer. He wouldn't play first base. Well, guess what? The Red Sox still didn't get a good first baseman. Like they traded Devers because he wouldn't play first, and then they were like Abraham Toro. And then when Toro finally died 6 weeks, 6 weeks after his Cinderella run was over, they're like, okay,
They
we're
dragged his
still
corpse out there, and he had already started decomposing.
yeah. Like I saw Bone the last like 3 weeks of Abraham Toro's Red Sox career. That's how dead he had been before they DFA'd him. And then they still could have traded for a first baseman at the deadline. They didn't really make any sort of effort on Josh Naylor. They were in like on the surface talks for Eugenio Suarez, but he wasn't a first baseman. They were going to do the Schwarber with him and put him at first. They didn't get a first baseman. They had to drag 7,000-pound Nathaniel Lowe off the street after the terrible Washington Nationals, one of the worst run organizations in pro sports, cut him. That's the same organization that didn't cut Josh Bell. That should have been a red flag number one. I was an advocate for bringing in Lowe, but that was because I was tired of watching the platoon of Abraham Toro and Romy Gonzalez try and, piecemeal together a good season. And like Romy ended up having a good year overall, but he's a platoon guy with a long injury history. He had injury issues in Chicago. That's a big reason why he failed there. You played him every single day, basically, for 2 months. And guess what? He got hurt, played through it, and sucked because of it. If you added a first baseman at the deadline, this isn't a solution. If you just kept Rafi Devers, you could have dealt with the struggles at first base, and Devers would have DH'd. Like, as good as Massa was, he's a huge drop-off from Devers. It's just, it was a salary dump. Can we stop trying to pretend like there was any sort of baseball implication in it at all? They got better after they traded Devers because the pitching staff, the rotation went from a bottom 10 ERA to 4th in the league in ERA after they traded Devers. Rafi DH'd. His defense did not hold them back from preventing runs from scoring. It was pitching. The offense got a little bit worse. The pitching got a lot better. It was not a Devers issue that magically made them better. What was he doing to piss off the pitchers that trading him magically healed? I don't see it. I don't see the point. In every in-season acquisition that Breslow made, sans for Steven Matz, was either bad or didn't appear in the postseason roster. So it's just brutal. It's just a brutal season for in-season acquisitions for Craig Breslow because Steven Matz, as good as he was, sorry, I know I'm rambling. I promise I'm done in a second. You trade the one guy you did play or you did pitch in the series that you got during the season, as far as a trade chip. You traded for a guy that you already had Justin Wilson, Brennan Bernardino, Chris Murphy. You already had a bunch of lefties in the pen. So it's not like you were starving for lefty relief, and Chapman obviously as well. But okay, I'm done. Tangent over.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that, so when you're talking about oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Oh, freaking Romy, right? He's done. You can say, okay, Romy is Isiah, bro. You are typing so loud, my guy.
Sorry, I would use my phone. I would use my phone normally, but I can't. So bear with me.
It's like you're just typing away, using a typewriter over there, I think.
Trying to get the audio a bit better on my side.
No, what I was going to say was if you had traded for a first baseman, you could have moved Romy to second base, and that could have been like, if you wanted to play him every day as a second baseman, he would have been, far superior offensively to whatever we were rolling out there most days.
Even better than Marcelo. Like, Marcelo was a good defender, but like he wasn't hitting.
Right.
He'd shown maybe some signs of life, but he wasn't hitting. Like, again, I mean, we're Monday morning GMing the entire 2025 season. Like, we're kind of pulling the June Lee thing where it's like, oh, the Red Sox should have prepared for every single valuable player on their team to get hurt. Not quite, but this is 2 years in a row where in-season acquisitions made by Craig Breslow were a big reason why you couldn't advance. Last year, your deadline sucked. You fell off in the second half. You missed the playoffs. This year, your deadline sucked, where guys that were on the team couldn't, do anything. Your reinforcements that you gave them, like Steven Matz didn't pitch with a lead. So even he couldn't really help you win because he could just prevent you from losing by more than you lost.
Yeah. I completely agree. And like an important caveat is it's not that we're just sitting here bitching as if like we don't appreciate some like the good stuff Breslow has done. I'm hoping with each year he like finds something to get better at. For example, the depth that we had with starting pitching this year, I can't remember a year in which we'd have this many injuries. And I was still pretty confident throughout the entire year that the starting pitcher was going to at least going to be adequate. And then secondly, some of the free agent signings, specifically extensions, I've been extremely pleased with. Crochet, super happy. Obviously, Roman Anthony, super ecstatic. And obviously, Christian Campbell didn't have the greatest, sans, 1 month or whatever, but that still seems like a pretty phenomenal, especially, at the time. But yeah, back to Devers. I just wished from the get-go they had just been clear that it was a salary dump. I understand why they wouldn't because of the media and kind of the outroar it would cause, but it's already been pretty much confirmed with them trying to trade him back at spring training. And then if that's the case, then do we really think the Red Sox are going to sign Pete Alonso if if they don't like the way that Devers contract looks, we're going to give Pete Alonso however much, who's older than Devers and not as consistent, I'd argue, in his career?
I would counter that and say the way that they approach Bregman this offseason shows that they are willing to overpay for short-term rentals. And if they are willing to overpay for short-term rentals, and Alonso likes that idea of kind of like what he did this year, where he comes back for a year, tests it out again. Like, he kind of strikes me as, unless the first base market explodes this offseason, which I can't see that it does, although there is quite a few first basemen that are going to be available. Josh Naylor, Ryan O'Hearn, to name a few. I'm sure there's someone else I'm forgetting too. But I could see him signing some deals with opt-outs and going for that higher AAV, shorter term, just because maybe he wants to chase the rings because he hasn't gotten that with New York. I don't know. But I think that the Red Sox have shown that they're willing to overpay. I don't see them signing him long term, though.
Yeah, I like the idea of a 3-year Alonso deal, like high AAV. I don't understand. I just don't think that Pete Alonso, that's something he'd really be interested in.
And if that's what he's going to sign, he's going to do so and stay with the New York Mets.
New York Mets, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just against signing Pete in general, but I don't want
I just was thinking about a world where we spend $70 million and we sign Kyle Schwarber and Pete Alonso to short-term deals and added immediately 70 home run potential to our lineup. Right in the heart of the order.
Pete scares me, man. Like, he does.
Think about a lineup that goes like this. Roman Anthony, Kyle Schwarber, Trevor Story, Pete Alonso, in some order, right? That would be like pretty killer top 4. I don't know.
Is Bregman walking in this scenario? Because I feel like Trev wouldn't hit third if you still had Bregman. I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think Bregman in that scenario is gone and use his money to buy the higher AAV on those guys.
I think I would much rather just keep Bregman because you know what it looks like with him in Boston. I know that Pete's would be coming from a big market. I've maintained this position that I would rather always be wrong about Pete Alonso and he has like a Hall of Fame caliber career playing anywhere but Boston than be 1 year too late. Because I think when it goes, it is going to go horribly for Pete. And in 2024, we saw signs of it being like he regressed a lot. 2024 was not a good year for him. And in the postseason, he sucked until he had like that one swing in Milwaukee. And then he had that one swing against the Dodgers where he had, 2 massive home runs. But like Mets fans were ready to like usher him out of town. They hated him, and then he hit 2 home runs in the playoffs, and they magically loved him again. But Mets fans aren't super thrilled with him either anymore. And I know that we shouldn't be basing it off of a fan base because as we know, as Red Sox fans, not necessarily the most rational people. But I don't know. There's just something about Pete I don't like. I don't. I just don't think. I don't think it'd be a worthwhile investment. I know that he's going to get a ton of money. I think the Mets are the team that's going to give it to him. And so you probably have to pay even more to pry him from New York. You can't just get away with offering him the same deal. I don't think it's worth the Red Sox time. Bring back Bregman out of necessity now, not even just like I want Bregman back, but it's like more of a necessity at this point that you bring him back because you don't know what's going to happen with Casas. Devers has already been traded. And Story could opt out. That might be a trade piece as well. Like this roster is going to look really interesting in about 2.5 months.
And I think the big thing for me is it's easy to pick like your guys who you prefer, who you want traded, but I feel like all these pieces are connected, right? Like if we trade a certain player for Joe Ryan, then maybe the free agent that I want is different. Or if we sign a pitcher, if Costa is going to be our first baseman, is that trade what DH we want? Do we want more? Do we want to bring in a big left-handed hitter? Do we want a right-handed hitter? Like, if we're going to give Christian Campbell left field, then I'd probably prefer we have Duran in center at that point because I don't want like my 8 and 9 to be Rafaela and Campbell. I'm not sure about Campbell's bat. That might be the I don't know. I was kind of went off on a tangent there, but my point is that like all these pieces are connected. So it's just kind of it seems early sometimes to like pick your 1 or 2 guys when we don't know what like all the moving pieces are going to be.
I mean, you nailed it right there. It seems so obvious when you're watching the game and you're watching guys fail. It's like Duran, he's got to go. Like in the moment, you're mad at him for dropping a pop fly. You're mad at him for striking out with runners on, whatever it is, and you're just like, all right, goodbye. That's a 4-WAR player that you now just have to replace. And the same thing for Ceddanne. I know I mentioned earlier that trading Ceddanne is not something I'm against. I mean, even Willier is a 2.5-WAR player this year, and it was closer to 3 before he came back from the injured list and completely stunk up the joint for that last week. But that's a lot of value you have to replace no matter what. It's not that obvious. It sounds obvious. It looks obvious sometimes. But like you said, you don't know what the offseason is going to look like. Who knows? Maybe another pitcher that it's not even Joe Ryan becomes available. What if Hunter Green comes available? Like, who are you willing to trade for Hunter Green? What if that Andrew Abbott, thing that got floated in the summertime, that becomes a thing? He didn't even pitch in the playoffs. You think he's happy to be in Cincinnati still? Which, by the way, Tito, fucking next time coming, he can't stay so long. That was a brutal showing from him in October. But yeah, the offseason, it's gonna be crazy. And we don't know what the market's gonna look like. Like nobody thought Bregman was gonna still be sitting there in February waiting for a 3-year deal to pop up. It's just the offseason's weird, especially with the lockout in a year as well.
Yep.
I don't think a lot of 1-year deals are going around.
gonna say you got to wonder if there's gonna be a lot of like guys taking discounts to have 3 years locked up, 4 years locked up. I could see it.
Yeah, there's just so many variables, man. Like Story and Bregman can both opt out. They could both opt in. That changes the way you view money, who you want to throw it at, who you want to trade. It just seems kind of
Yes.
early and silly to.
We have 6 official free agents, which are Steven Matz, Justin Wilson, Rob Refsnyder, and Dustin May, then Giolito and Hendricks.
The only one there that I want back is probably Rob.
Relief pitchers, lefty relievers, Justin Wilson, Steven Matz, like one of those guys I'd be okay with coming back. They did a fine job in lower leverage, middle relief. That'd be fine. Giolito, he wasn't horrible, but it just depends on like what's the cost, right? Because you look at
I'm giving him a
his
QO.
elbow
And that's it, personally. But
his elbow started barking in the postseason here, and he's had to miss the whole postseason, and that's not a good sign. Like, what if he blows out his elbow again? Are we gonna like he might take the QO given the injury concern?
Which would be, I mean, dude, pitching is so freaking expensive that even if he had a little bit of concerns, a low 20 million for someone like that is really not that crazy.
I do wonder if the Red Sox are kicking themselves for Nick Pivetta, or if he just would have been like. I wonder if they're kicking themselves that he didn't accept the qualifying offer.
I really do think, as awful as it sounds, it was Pivetta or Bregman. Like, you either get your comp pick. Like, if they didn't get the comp pick from Pivetta, I don't think they signed Bregman.
That's crazy.
I really think it's that like ridiculous. But also look at the season Pivetta had.
Yeah, it was a very good season.
No, the fact that could be a reality with this organization and front office and whatever Breslow is just absurd for the Red Sox. But
I had that take when it happened. I said, like, the moment that we signed Bregman, I said that. I was like, I wonder if this only happened because we offered, or no, maybe it was right before, because Pivetta hadn't signed yet. And I said, I wonder if the holdup is that they're waiting to see if they're going to get the comp pick. Whatever the order was, like that was definitely a conversation. And man, that is so sorry and so sad and pathetic if that's the way that we're looking at things.
Well, I have an honest question for you guys, and I don't know what my answer would be, to be honest. If you had a crystal ball and you looked into it in January and you got Alex Bregman, you signed Alex Bregman, but it cost you Devers. In the alternate reality, you bring back Pivetta and Devers is still your long-term third baseman. Which reality are you picking? Are you picking the one that keeps Devers, but you have Pivetta on a 4-year deal? Or was not getting Pivetta, getting the comp pick, and then signing Bregman worth it if it also costs you Rafi Devers? I honestly don't know what I would pick. I think I'd resigned to the fact that I wanted Pivetta back after a while. I thought it just made sense to bring him back because he was familiar with you. So I probably would have opted for the reality that had Rafael Devers as my third baseman, for better or worse, and Yoshida as my DH on opening day. Again, for better or worse.
Yeah, the only problem with that scenario is the only thing is, if you keep Devers in that contract, are you telling me that we're still signing Anthony and Campbell those contracts? Because that's where I wonder how they're using that money. Like, in a perfect world, they're just like, hey, we're giving these guys their contracts no matter what. But I don't trust the front office to be able to differentiate between the Devers money and them giving half of it to Anthony and, a quarter of it to Campbell, whatever.
I will say they did extend Campbell and Crochet with Devers still on the team. So it's not – I guess we're really talking about Roman, and then it's
Roman, yeah.
if that money, if you're saying in theory that the money that you saved on Devers went to Roman, you're still, probably about 12 million off on average for the next 8 years as far as
16. Yeah.
so you're probably who we're going to be looking at the guys they sign at a 10 to 12 million dollar a year rate for the next half decade. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a very interesting question that I probably need more time to think on myself. I just think if I knew what was going to happen in 2025, where Bregman was going to opt out after the season, if Bregman was going to opt out after the season, and they were going to trade Devers, would I rather have Pivetta if it meant keeping Rafi? I think I might have, but I'd have to think about it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that out on Twitter. I think get some good discourse going around it.
Yeah, so scenario 1 is exactly how 2025 played out. Scenario 2, Nick Pivetta re-signs with the Red Sox. The Red Sox don't end up with Alex Bregman, and Devers is your third baseman. Yoshida is your DH. What I honestly think that Fenway Sports Group and Craig Breslow has done a great job gaslighting the fan base into picking exactly what happened in 2025. Even though Pivetta had a 2.6 something ERA this year. Let me verify that. And he started game 1 for the Padres, which I thought was hysterical. He had a 2.87 ERA, made 31 starts, 181 and 2/3 innings. That was a career high for him.
You know what? Could you do the same? Could you do the same example with Tyler O'Neill if we offered him? Well, I guess we didn't offer him one, but I remember that being a narrative for a bit.
Can you imagine if they ended up giving Tyler O'Neill the qualifying offer? He was so bad this year for Baltimore.
I remember that was the one everyone's like, oh, I don't understand why we didn't. The Pivetta one was like, well, pitching expensive, I get it, but it felt like that one everyone's like, dude, that was the one we missed out on, and then obviously he sucked this year. But
he only played 54 games, 9 home runs, hit 199.
Yeah, not ideal.
He did hit that opening day home run though. Don't forget it.
Did keep the streak alive. It's a very interesting debate to have. I think maybe let the dust settle so people aren't so reactionary on it. I don't know if you already tweeted it. If you did, whatever, it's fine. But I am curious what people think, because I don't know. I think what Bregman did was fantastic, and you can't really put a price on the leadership that he provided. But if this was only for 1 year, was it worth losing Rafael Devers?
Yeah,
that's why I think you have to bring Bregman back out of necessity. Even if you think that the age curve and the health concerns are, and again, valid. Like if you think that he's going to suck at 34, like he's already 32. If you think he's going to suck within the next couple of years, I'm not in a position to be like, no, there's no way he's going to suck in 2 years. He's 31, turns 32 at the end of March next year. If you think he's going to suck in 2 years, I can't really tell you you're wrong. But with possibly Duran gone, Devers already gone, you kind of have to bring him back. Like you really can't just let him go. I don't think Kyle Schwarber would be a nice like little appeasement to the fan base. Like Red Sox fans love Schwarber for good reason. He's a great player. I don't think Kyle Schwarber's enough to really scratch the itch that would be left. But because then who the fuck's playing third? You put in Marcelo there? Are you confident enough in Marcelo to hit big league pitching, not just against righties, but against lefties too? Because that's another thing that I think the Red Sox really need to prioritize this offseason. Getting more dudes who can just play every single day. Like lefties that are passable against left-handed pitching. Another reason why I am against giving up on Tristan Casas is he's one of those few guys, lefty, that I don't hold my breath when he faces lefty pitching.
The more I think about Casas, I agree. The more that I actually like him to stay. Also, based off the fact that he's got zero fucking value, right? So, like, even if you did trade him, you're getting nothing in return, and he still has the potential to be like a 3, 4, 5 hitter that you really fucking need in the lineup right now. Like, if Bregman walks, dude, you got Anthony, who hopefully he's their leadoff hitter. And then what? You got Story hitting 2-3, and then whoever, like, they're screwed. Like,
Yeah, again, this lineup could look really different in about 6
Yeah.
weeks. Honestly, not even just 2.5 months from now. Like we're talking. Matt just mentioned the free agents, the definite free agents, but then there's Bregman and Story could opt out. They could trade either, or they could trade Story. I think that's another possibility. A team like Atlanta would probably pounce at the opportunity to get Story. Although they did sign Ha-Seong Kim, so I don't know what that looks like. But Ozzy Albies is a free agent, so they could bring in Story anyway.
I've traded Story to the Braves and franchise like so many times. It just makes so much sense.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, Tristan Casas, I know he had a miserable season when he was healthy. But I mean, again, per 162, he's a 27 home run guy.
With the ABS.
I feel like how I feel about Pete Alonso, I feel the exact opposite about. Well, no, I feel the same way, but for the opposite reason about Tristan Casas. I would rather always be wrong about him, and he just never amounts to anything in Boston. And by the time his rookie contract's up, if he's already been DFA'd or you just let him go because he wasn't worth keeping around, then give up on him. And then he goes to God only knows where. We'll use Seattle because that was like the big team last year. And he goes and is a freak for the Mariners because they'll be probably looking to replace Josh Naylor in the offseason. So that's another avenue you could take. I doubt you'll get anything of value, but they probably would be calling about Tristan Casas again.
Maybe.
It's I feel like there's so much reward with keeping Casas.
He's just a good player, man. I know he sucked this year, but like, I don't know. I mean, he's a career 800 OPS guy in 251 games, 45 homers. He's driven in 120. Like, he's been around a bit. The guys like him. I know that the fan base doesn't like him because he's a little weird. And by weird, I just mean he paints his nails, so that really pisses people off. I saw someone call him a drama queen today. I'm like, literally, why? Like what's he done to be a drama queen besides like the weird shit with his injury last year, where I think he was just being a dick. Like, I think he was just tired of answering that question repeatedly. Not to excuse it. It obviously pissed Cora off, but like, this is a good hitter.
That's
Power.
exactly what it was.
Yeah. Power.
It was standard.
Yeah. Power, walks. And, you know, he's a dude who embraces being a Boston athlete. Like, some people run from it. Like, Devers ran from it. Devers loved getting paid, and he probably loved being on national TV, and he hit a lot of home runs. And like, you know, the thing from 2021, they pay me good, I hit home runs. That's what life of Rafi Devers is like. But he ran away from the responsibilities of being a Boston athlete, something that Tatum doesn't do, something that Jaylen Brown doesn't do, something Brad Marchand didn't do, something David Pastrnak doesn't do, something Brady sure shit didn't do. Gronk, those guys didn't run from, like, Julian Edelman even. Like, those guys knew what it meant to be a Boston athlete. Durant knows what it means to be a Boston athlete. Doesn't mean he should always be one, but Casas embraces it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's his way of like staying important at work, but he embraces it, and I think that matters.
And then once again, there's so many moving parts that if you trade a Durant and or Abreu, I'm gonna need another left-handed hitting bat in that lineup, and Casas can absolutely fill that.
You need power.
Fun update to the Cam Schlittler saga here. He confirmed that he was referencing when he said that he was basically fueled on by posts that he saw on Twitter by Red Sox fans against him. He said that some of them like took it a little bit too far and stuff like that. And he's like, that's what fueled me on the mound. He confirmed that it was social media posts directed at his mom from some of the quote bigger accounts they've got over there. So basically Cutter is King and some of these other accounts that were posting his mom's Instagram, Twitter bio on here may have been the reason that he shoved 100 miles an hour for the entire.
I think this is phenomenal for the rivalry, and I have no problem with him shoving it up all of our asses, as we said earlier. Like, no problem whatsoever. This is great theater. It's going to be. He's so young too. I love this.
I will make it a priority of mine to spend whatever I have to spend to be at his Fenway debut.
Yeah.
What if we just offered a nice little trade package, and what if we just tried to trade for Cam from the Yankees? Like, we've traded with them
You
before.
willing to trade freaking Marcelo to the Yankees?
I mean, can Marcelo throw 100 miles an hour? Dude,
Can Cam Schlittler play middle infield? Like
nah, but like,
even if Story doesn't opt out, he's in his mid-30s and only has 2 more years on his deal. So I'm yeah, I know that it would be a ridiculous thing for the Yankees to do. It's just I wouldn't feel comfortable making a trade of that. Like, you make minor trades with the Yankees. You trade Alex Verdugo to the Yankees. You trade Kelly Johnson or Steven Drew to the Yankees. You don't trade top prospects to the Yankees.
Yeah, they got so much money in that starting rotation too. That having a guy like Cam, that cheap of a contract and that good for the next 4 or 5 years, however long, is huge for them.
yeah, that's crazy that they hit on him too, because everyone's freaking out ever since somebody on Twitter pointed out that the Red Sox could have drafted him, and the pick right before him drafted, I want to say, like, Conrad Kaysen, or that's not who it was.
No, it was like Caleb Bowden or something.
Yeah, it was somebody
Which
that
is-
like is in the system still, but
It's valid, but it's also, the whole slot stuff comes into play.
It was Caleb Bowden.
oh yeah, I think Milliken put out that like the reason they were able to sign Anthony over slot was because of that pick, where they signed Bowden way under slot. So,
Also, it's the 7th
kinda
round.
goes.
Like, if Cam Schlittler was that good in college, 1, he wouldn't have gone to Northeastern. 2, he's going in the top 10 in the draft. Like, he was throwing 89 miles an hour in college. Like, yeah, sure, his frame, and maybe if Breslow were in charge back then, he may have had Schlittler on his radar. But, like, again, 30 teams passed on him at least 6 times.
Yeah, and maybe I'm biased, but I'm pretty happy with a lot of our draft classes lately, man.
Yeah, like Roman alone makes 2022 a win for the draft class.
I mean, early's a
Even
win.
Mikey
Yeah,
Romero
early's
looks good
good.
in that class.
Tolly's a win.
Yep.
Yeah, Romero
Campbell,
was the first round
obviously.
pick in that draft. Yeah, like I'm not
Speaking of
gonna
winning,
go ahead.
can we just? I know we're hitting about that hour mark where we typically try to figure out where we're going with the rest of this pod. Can we just talk about how freaking awesome it is that Hogdale's getting like just massive amounts of attention right now? Signing officially with Barstool. I know there's a lot of thoughts about the organization that it is, but I don't know if you haven't had a chance to watch the video that he posted today, the YouTube video about him signing with Barstool. Like, it definitely made me tear up watching it. Like, it's crazy to see him just kind of like in real time processing. Like, I chased my dream, and I made it. Like, I did what I was hoping to do. Like, this is crazy. So kudos to him, man. Pesky Report alum. We got a shout out on the video too. But his post currently is 3.3 million views of his announcement going over there to Barstool. It's so cool, man. So cool. I'm really happy for him.
I know
Yeah, one of
people
my-
felt some. Go ahead.
No, just one of my favorite things in life is not only seeing people succeed, but people who are like super duper genuine. And I really appreciate about Hogdale, because it's easy when you start to rise in popularity and fame or whatever to kind of forget who you are. And he's still the same guy that I've been following for a couple of years now, and just really happy for him.
He's such a good dude. Like, I know people felt some type of way about him even like going to Barstool. I was telling Isiah before you joined the room, Matt. If Portnoy called me today and offered me a job, I'm taking it. Like, that is such an amazing opportunity. And for somebody like Hogdale, and he goes into it in his video. You know, he didn't go to college. This is literally his dream. He chased his dream, and it took him a lot of time. 4 years of doing this on top of like having another job, like having like an actual like paying 9 to 5. Like, that takes some serious fortitude that not a lot of people have. His work ethic and his growth. I wish there was some overlap. Like, he shouted out Pesky Report, but none of us were involved with Pesky Report when he was here.
True.
But you know, it's just nice to see people who deserve it succeed. And I know that some people felt some type of way. I saw some people like ragging on him the last couple of days. I feel like that I don't know. I don't want to speak for everybody, but it felt like there was a lot of jealousy in their criticism. Again, it's Barstool. I get the culture of that organization and of Portnoy and of those guys. That is a tremendous opportunity. And if Hogdale didn't take it, I don't want to say he's an idiot, because everyone has the reasons to take something or not take something, but that would have been a very interesting decision, to say the least. And maybe, I don't know. I always thought that if Milliken left Section 10, Hogdale was going there like within seconds. Not that I ever thought like Tyler was going to leave, but it just felt like that would be the swap. I didn't think Steve was going to leave again. I think Coley and Jared are, like at the hip as well. But I thought Hogdale was going to be a Section 10 guy at some point, and he ended up at Barstool, where, obviously Section 10 was originated from. So, good for him. I'm very happy
And he
for
still
him.
could end up there someday. You never know.
No, he definitely
But-
could.
Oh yeah,
I still wouldn't be
plenty of
shocked.
people use Barstool as a springboard.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think like with him being close to Jared too, I'm sure they talked about it before him taking the offer, and
Yeah.
like if it was as bad of a situation as that, like Jared would have told him not to take the deal. So I think that everyone's going to have a different experience, and using the platform there to get paid to do what he loves. Like, we're over here looking for an ad sponsor just to pay for our StreamYard subscription. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get he quits his job to be able to talk about the Red Sox and the Patriots for his freaking living, man. Like, it's
Good for him.
inspiring, honestly. And it's cool to see that, like, it wasn't because he'd been grinding it out for 4 years that, like, randomly, these people have been following him for, like, it was, like, slowly over time in the last year trying to do something new, find your niche, and then you get in front of the right person. That right person makes it happen for you. Like, it was literally in the matter of 2 days where one of his clips went viral and Dave found it, and then that's how it happened. Like, it's crazy.
I'm very happy.
Now we need
for
to
him.
have some hot takes from you, Jordan, there, so we can try to get your clips to go viral. So, whatever you got.
Why has it got to be me? You trying to tell
right.
me you want me to leave?
It's just right, man. I mean, ever since Jimmy Fallon is now a turncoat Yankees fan, I can't. You can't really use fever pitch as your claim to fame. So.
Well, he's always been a Yankees fan. He just played a Red Sox fan in a movie. He just doesn't have a backbone. Like, Matt Damon would never play a Yankees fan.
That's a great point.
Ben Affleck historically in Gone Girl shut down production for 4 days because he didn't want to wear a Yankees hat. He ended up wearing a Mets hat.
It's levels to this shit.
Yep.
Compromise. So funny.
But yeah, good. No,
What else you
good
guys
for
got?
Hogdale for sure. I mean,
You
I don't
got
know.
it again.
We didn't really talk a whole lot about the series itself, but I don't know. I mean, I guess one question I do have for you guys is Masa's still gone?
Depends. If you have to show me who the outfielders are, you have to show me who's playing first base. You have to show me if Bregman resigns, if Story opts out, if Myers has a guaranteed position. It just depends. Like what as the roster is currently constructed, no. But is this roster going to be the roster on opening day next year? Fucking hope not. You know.
Yeah.
I think like for me, it comes down to you're trying to move him. But if something else comes up and you don't have to, then that's fine. But hoarding your resources like a little whore this offseason, not acceptable.
Yeah,
Like a little whore. Don't be a whore, Craig Breslow.
Yeah, I'd prefer not having an $18 million DH who has 15
Hit
home
singles.
runs a year. Yeah, hit singles. But also you're the Red Sox, and that shouldn't, stop you from making other moves if you have to eat that or eat half of it or whatever the number is. So just depends.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for the offseason. I know we're going to have Ed Hand come on at some point, talk about the free agent landscape. He does a really good job of putting together the annual free agent tracker and doing a write up on, I think he does like top 50 free agents or something like that. Might even be a larger list than that, to be honest with you. He might like put everybody on there. What's that face for, Jordan? All right, Jordan's gone. That was a concerning face right before leaving. Anyone watching on YouTube? Yeah, so we got that coming up. We've got a bunch of off-season content from the minor league guys coming up. I know nobody really wants to probably talk about the season right now, this close to it, but we'll have off-season previews coming up. I know last off-season we spent a ton of time, and we'll wait till the postseason's over, but we spent a ton of time with different podcasts, having them come on and doing like fantasy-style drafts, and that was a lot of fun. Some live streams there, and just collaborating with other people. Maybe we'll get some chance to do that this off season. But I think it's been a fun season. Shout out to Jordan for just being a great leader of the Pesky Report this season. I think we couldn't have done it without you. I know I had to take some time away this summer, and you really stepped in my absence and did double time and kind of nearly burned yourself out doing that 2 shows instead of just 1. So appreciate you, man. And I know that the rest of the people on the Pesky Report crew are very grateful to have you leading the ship. And this is year 2. It was already better than year 1, and excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got big aspirations for 2026, and that starts this off season. I have some goals as far as guests that I would like to get this off season. I'm not going to say any names because I feel like if I put that out into the universe, then it won't happen. It's kind of like saying what your 11/11 wish was, or what if there's a shooting star. Like I don't want to put that out there, but I've got some big aspirations, and I know that like I've been kind of getting I don't want to minimize like the kind words, because it does mean a lot to hear you guys say that, and to read what you guys say in the group chat and stuff. It does mean a lot. But like I feel like I don't really run the show. Like I kind of just am here, like you guys are the ones who run the show. Like I give you guys the creative freedom to go and do what you want, go get the guests that you want, whatever it is, and ask questions later. Obviously there are times where, we got to have a conversation, and I'm like, maybe we shouldn't, have whatever that is be the like a bullet point on the tweet. But but I think for the most part, you guys are the ones that make the show great. Like I'm just here to make sure it doesn't explode. Essentially, like I'm like the babysitter with 2 kids that are on Adderall. Like it's so low maintenance that I don't really have to fucking worry about it, And the day we'll know if I'm cut out for this if there is some shit storm and how I handle it. Actually, you know what? No, I did handle one last year, but we'll see how it goes going forward. And that it's not an invitation to cause a shitstorm, but I am very excited about what year 3 with me running the pesky report is going to look like. Already started planning some things and hoping for some big gets this winter.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I know, like Isiah and I we're in talks currently, about maybe possibly figuring out a spring training trip, which would be pretty dope if we can pull that off. So
I was really concerned with where that was going to go. I was about to be like, dude, what did we talk about?
How drunk were you last night?
You said the word spring training came out of your mouth, and I was like, dude, thank God. I was like, what did I promise, Matthew? I got myself into.
Yeah, buddy. Remember you gave me your credit card? We purchased season tickets, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. It must have been when my phone broke when I was jumping up the stairs,
Right.
Unfortunately. But...
No, it's just been one drop of water hit your screen.
That wasn't water.
Hey. All right.
Ayo. Yeah, I think it'll be nice to take a little bit of a break from having to think about anything to do with this team, because we got 2 weeks of postseason baseball coming up that doesn't involve us, and then the grind starts, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens this offseason. But that's all I got for final thoughts, guys. I know we didn't really talk a ton about the series, but I think everybody watched it. It was the largest viewed wildcard series since they started doing it. Like 8 to 10 million people were tuning in watching those games. So we all know what happened.
Yeah, that we do. Who do you guys think will win the World Series, though? My pick was the Padres, so that's obviously not going to happen.
So I think I actually have the Sox beating the Yankees in 5.
The Sox beating the Yankees in 5.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Game 4 tomorrow.
Yeah, game 4 tomorrow. I think the Dodgers.
Dodgers. I mean, I can see it. The Phillies are going to put up a heck of a fight, and we'll see what happens. But that's my prediction. Phillies go all the way. I think that it'll be Phillies and Mariners at this point, which should be a fun World Series. A lot of good pitching in that series. Some interesting offense. Cal Raleigh versus Kyle Schwarber. That's what I want to see. All right, guys. On behalf of the pesky. Oh, keep going.
No, I was gonna say for my final thought is I know the next couple of weeks everyone's gonna be trying to figure out what we're gonna do this offseason. I just hope that we remember like how much happened this year and how nice of it was to have a team that like was in the hunt all year round, and how if we do this correctly, we're building something that's hopefully sustainable. I just hope that we remember that and are thankful like how much better this year was in season past. It's easy to just be like, oh, I hope we do this trade. I hope we do this trade. I hope we do this. But today there's like, oh, there's no Red Sox game on. And I was just thinking that everything has transpired since last offseason. And it's been a ride. So,
given the ups and downs, it was a much better season than the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. I'm going to close it out. On behalf of the Pesky Report, brought to you by Beyond the Monster. We appreciate you guys tuning in for our final season recap, and we'll talk to you guys soon. We'll try to put out when we're posting our next episode. Probably at some point during the postseason, we might do a World Series preview. Might do it post World Series. TBD on that. But until next time, Matt, Jordan, and Isiah. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and catch you.